They are not hiding it, so I don't see why you should get pissed.
I ain't gonna give in now, I just gotta live this now. I'm gonna be man, I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in their ring when I'm knocking them out. When I'm back with the will, cause I am just up on the journey. Just know that I'm just going to say.
Warriors, rise. Grand rising. Good evening, warriors all over the world. I want to say, first of all, an attitude of gratitude. I love you guys so much. My name is Coach JB. I am the top health, mindset, crypto, and business coach in the world. Remember, what you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. If you want to join the best warrior academy in the world, 3twarrioracademy.com. We're going to dive right into this video. Now, they're not hiding it from you, so everybody's getting so angry and so pissed. But here's what's happening. You're worried about Jake Paul and Anderson Silva, whether it's a fake fight or not. The world is a stage. As you look this way, there's a whole nother narrative going on this way. And if you don't know the game, you're going to get played. So think about that for just a moment. They're not hiding this stuff. Everybody's so angry, but it's hidden in plain sight. So we're going to break this down. I'm going to show you exactly where we're heading in the future, 2030, 2040, all the way to 2060. The old industrial area, the 1900s, is dead. It's done. It's gone. Gas industry, I'm talking oil, right? Oil, hands, factories. We're moving AI, technology, quantum, blockchain, connectivity. So the old way of doing business is crushed. So if you're not working on reskilling yourself, looking at how you do your finances and allocating your investments, you are going to die off figuratively with the old physical paradigm. There's going to be very wealthy and very poor. There is going to be no more middle class. The reason why there's going to be no middle class, because that was the American dream. The middle class was the engine of the U.S. economy. Small business was the engine of the U.S. economy. Now there's been some switches, lockstep, since 1971, when the World Economic Forum was created, to all the way to today in 2022, where the new UK Prime Minister came in who is crypto friendly and already is giving speeches that is taking us step by step exactly where they want us to go in zero carbon. They're not hiding it. It's in plain sight, but we're worried about Jake Paul, Anderson Silva's fight, all the stuff that Kanye is doing right now. First, it was Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson, then Kanye West. Think about all the distractions you've had, and we're all looking this way as they're showing you exactly what's happening every single day. So let's go back to 2020, where the Pope says Vatican City will aim for net zero carbon emissions. Okay. So the Pope was out there saying, hey, in 2020, we're going for zero carbon, as everybody was locked down. Okay. Now this narrative started a little bit earlier than that, but the narrative continues on. Okay. So the list of oil companies that met with the Pope about climate change, I'm sharing you where we're going. We're going zero carbon, right? So make sure you look for climate-friendly investments. Very important. The investments that are in my portfolio, a lot of the ISO 20002 tokens are climate friendly. Xrp, Algorand, just go down the list. Look up Crypto Climate Accord. The list of oil that some of them are on there, okay? The list of oil companies that met with the Pope about climate change has some big names missing. But also it has a very big name showing. So if we go F5, let's pull up our friend Larry Fink. Boom, there he pops up. We're going to pop him up right there. Well, if I spell Larry right, Larry Fink, boom, there we go. The others in attendance, of course, Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager. Let me repeat that, the world's largest asset manager. Okay, we got former U.S. Secretary also joined in. Okay, so Pope went on his campaign in 2020 around zero carbon. And then we fast forward to 2022, and let's take a listen to the prime minister, the brand new prime minister, this devastatingly handsome man who's going to bring us into zero carbon by 2030. So let's pay attention, okay? All right, so we're going to play this video of his speech.
Easy to feel daunted by the scale of the challenge that we face, by sea levels rising, droughts and wildfires spreading, people forced out of their homes. But I look around this hall and I feel optimism. Why? Because this is the first COP to bring together so many of the world's finance ministers, businesses and investors with such a clear common purpose: to deliver the promise made in Paris 6 years ago, to direct the world's wealth to protect our planet. The good news is that the will is there. At least 80.
Did you hear what he said? Pay attention. Direct the world's wealth to save our planet. Pay attention.
80% of the global economy has committed to net zero or carbon neutrality targets. Our challenge now is to deploy the investment we need to deliver those targets around the world. To do so, we are accelerating 3 actions today. First, we need increased public investment. And I want to speak directly to the developing countries of the world. We know that you've been devastated by the double tragedies of coronavirus and climate change. That's why the G20 is stepping up to provide debt treatments more swiftly. It's why the IMF are providing a new $650 billion allocation of special drawing rights, and Kristalina will say more on this later. And it's why...
These are signals that your financial system is switching. The new system is coming, okay? Debt relief, new financial system. Just listen to what he says.
We're going to meet the target to provide $100 billion of climate finance to developing countries. And while we know we are not yet meeting it soon enough, we will work closely with developing countries to do more and to reach the target sooner.
Okay, so they're going to now move. So remember, America dominated the world through oil. That's why when the dollar skyrockets, all other countries, my microphone's down here, I'm at my apartment. So when all other countries skyrocket, when the dollar skyrockets, it crushes other countries. But look what they're doing. They're giving funding to these developing countries, again, taking over and controlling the developing countries through money.
Over the next 5 years, we will deliver a total of $500 billion of investment to the countries that need it most. And we can do more today. I can announce that the United Kingdom will commit £100 million to the task force on access to climate finance, making it quicker and easier for developing countries to access the finance they need. And we're supporting a new capital markets mechanism, which will issue billions of new green bonds here in the UK to fund renewable energy in developing countries. 2 tangible, practical examples of how we're delivering our promise of $100 billion. But public investment alone isn't enough. Our second action is to mobilize private finance. Let me pay an enormous tribute to Mark Carney for his leadership that is delivering results. The Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero has now brought together financial organizations with assets worth over $130 trillion of capital to be deployed.
Okay, did you hear that? $130 trillion have been brought together. Now pay attention to where Rishi Sunak came from at the end of this video.
This is a historic wall of capital for the net zero transition around the world. What matters now is action to invest that capital in our low carbon future. To do that, investors need to have as much clarity and confidence in the climate impact of their investments as they do in the traditional financial metrics of profit and loss. So our third action is to rewire the entire global financial system for net zero.
Rewire the whole global financial system to net zero. Rewire the whole global financial system to net zero. They literally are not hiding this from you. You can't be pissed. They're giving you the blueprint.
Better and more consistent climate data, sovereign green bonds, mandatory sustainability disclosures, proper climate risk surveillance, stronger global reporting standards. All things we need to deliver, and I'm proud that the UK is playing its part. We've already made it mandatory for businesses to disclose climate-related financial information, with 35 other countries signing up to do the same. Today, I'm announcing that the UK will go further and become the first ever net zero aligned financial centre. This means we are going to move towards making it mandatory for firms to publish a clear, deliverable plan setting out how they will decarbonise and transition to net zero.
Mandatory.
With an independent task force to define what's required. So, a renewed pledge to $100 billion a year of public funding, over $130 trillion of private capital waiting to be deployed, and a greener financial system underway.
Boom. Okay. I'll leave you right there with that spot. Okay. Greener financial system under the way, 130 trillion in capital waiting to be deployed. And I'll move through this part quickly. Okay. So if you look at United Nations climate action, together for our planet, what is agreed, recognizing the emergency, accelerating action, moving away from fossil fuels. 1900s are dead. Rishi Sunak, excuse me, no disrespect if I'm saying his name incorrectly, comes from the World Economic Forum. Here he is delivering the next move for the World Economic Forum. We know I'm repeating the same things over and over again, from ambition to action. If you look at BlackRock and you look at World Economic Forum, they're using the exact same verbiage. From ambition to action, we are asking a bigger question to spark new ideas and innovation together on the road to net zero. BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, and they're going to be deploying $130 trillion towards the new climate change initiative. BlackRock unveils a new offering to power investors' transition to net zero emissions. BlackRock Aladdin, which is Aladdin going to be doing that, is connected to Coinbase. We know that Larry Fink is part of the World Economic Forum Board of Trustees. The Board of Trustees' job is to move the World Economic Forum's mission and values forward. President Biden, December 13, 2021, President Biden signs an executive order catalyzing America's clean energy economy through federal sustainability. President Joe Biden on Wednesday signed an executive order to make this was last year, federal government carbon net neutral by 2050, aiming for 65% reduction in plant warming greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. Shall I continue on? SGI targets reduced. This is the Saudis. Saudis are working to lower the oil supply. They're working to detach from the petrodollar, which is going to crush the American dollar. SGI target reduce carbon emissions by 275 MTBA by 2030. This is Saudi Arabia. Look at this. And I was driving my daughter to Washington recently, and I literally saw fields like this all over from Vegas all the way to Idaho. There was massive fields like this. I had never seen anything like that, field after field of these solar panels, which is wild. And then we know Brad Garlinghouse sits on the World Economic Forum, okay? It's clear crypto belongs in the future. This is back in 2020, financial system, but the future depends on us taking action now to ensure this tech can be used sustainably. Today, Ripple is committed to be zero carbon neutral by 2030 and building tools so that blockchain can use renewable energy. Ripple leads sustainability agenda to achieve zero carbon by 2030. Brad Garlinghouse sits on the World Economic Forum. Warriors, you can't get upset. They're literally showing you the narrative. You can sit just like people get an armchair quarterback. They sit there and they get upset and yell at the quarterback. They are literally showing you the team's playbook. They're not hiding this stuff from you. Everybody is so upset. They are showing you. It's part of the rules. They hide it in plain sight. The thing is, before we didn't have social media. They now have these tools where they can distract us nonstop. So they love that Kanye is doing this stuff. They love it. And we're eating it up. They love that Jake Paul, they're saying it's set up. Who cares? Who cares? You're still watching it. This is the stuff that I'm watching. This is the stuff that I'm into. This stuff is changing my family's life and future. They're giving me the investment blueprint. You're not going to stop this freight train. The only way to stop it, look what Elon's doing. He became one of the richest men in the world, and he's buying Twitter. So there's a man who said, screw it. I'm just going to become one of the richest men in the world and change the narrative. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. This is all coming from light, love, and positivity. I just want to thank you for watching this channel. Share this with a friend who's maybe struggling to open up their mind and awareness. As we always do, warriors, let's get your shit together. Let's go.